Clarity does not arrive as information. It does not arrive as logic. It arrives as a felt state, a quiet moment where the inner tension loosens, and something inside you finally exhales. Not because everything makes sense, but because you stop resisting what you already know. If you are here, clarity has already begun to move through you. Not dramatically, not loudly, but unmistakably. There is often a pause before clarity fully arrives, a strange stillness, a sense that something has ended, even if nothing outside has changed yet. This is not confusion. This is reorientation. Betrayal frequently stands at the threshold of this moment, not because betrayal is necessary, but because it breaks the final attachment to illusion. What hurt you was not only what happened, it was the moment you realized that your intuition had been speaking long before the event, and you learned to silence it. From the Pleiadian perspective, betrayal is not a moral failure. It is an energetic revelation. It exposes where you were sustaining a bond that required you to fragment your truth in order to maintain connection, and the system can only do that for so long. Clarity arrives when the cost of distortion becomes higher than the fear of truth. When this happens, the body responds immediately. The chest softens, the breath slows, the nervous system stops scanning for justification. You may notice something subtle. The urge to explain yourself weakens. The need to convince others fades. The inner debate quiets. These are signs of alignment returning. We are the Pleiadians. Our role is not to interfere with your choices or impose meaning on your experiences. Our function is to restore coherence between your heart, your intuition, and your lived reality. Clarity is the first signal that this coherence is reestablishing itself. And clarity does not erase pain, places it in its proper context. The pain no longer defines you. It no longer dictates your future. It becomes information, not identity. This is where transmutation begins. Not by rushing toward forgiveness, not by reframing loss as a lesson too quickly, but by allowing truth to stand without negotiation. When clarity is present, the system no longer spends energy maintaining misalignment. And when energy stops leaking, alignment begins to reorganize the field naturally. What follows is not chaos. It is not collapse. It is realignment. And realignment is the silent foundation, upon which abundance later emerges, not as reward, but as consequence. Clarity has arrived because you are ready to live without distortion. And from this moment forward, nothing that requires you to abandon yourself will feel sustainable again. Betrayal does not confuse you. It interrupts confusion. What creates disorientation is not the act itself, but the sudden collapse of a story you were trying to sustain. Before betrayal happens externally, there is almost always a period of internal misalignment. You felt it, subtle inconsistencies, moments where something did not fully resonate, but you adjusted yourself to keep the connection alive. From an energetic perspective, betrayal exposes the exact point, where self-abandonment replaced self-trust. This is why the pain feels sharp, not because something was taken from you, but because something you gave away is suddenly visible. Clarity begins here, not as judgment, not as self-blame, but as recognition. The nervous system stops asking, "How do I fix this?" and starts asking, "What is true now?" This shift is crucial, because when clarity emerges, energy stops looping in analysis, justification, and hope. It returns to the present. And this is where alignment starts to take form. Sparkles now, write in the comments, "I choose clarity over confusion." Write this because naming a direction stabilizes the field. Language is not neutral. It organizes attention, and attention reorganizes energy. When you write this sentence, you are not making a promise. You are ending a negotiation. You are signaling to your system that confusion no longer has authority. From this moment, betrayal begins to transmute, not by rewriting the past, not by excusing what happened, but by restoring inner leadership. Clarity removes the need to chase answers, and when the chase ends, energy becomes available again. This reclaimed energy is the first seed of abundance. Transmutation is not a mental process. It does not happen because you understand something. It happens because the system reorganizes itself. Once distortion is no longer being fed, when clarity stabilizes, energy stops moving in circles. What once went into rumination, vigilance, and emotional management returns to its source. This is why transmutation often feels quiet, almost anticlimactic. No fireworks, no dramatic closure, just a deep internal sense that something has shifted and will not return to its previous shape. From the Pleiadian perspective, transmutation occurs when energy changes function. Pain no longer demands resolution. It becomes data. Memory no longer reopens wounds. It becomes reference. The heart no longer fragments to maintain connection. It becomes coherent. This coherence is not emotional numbness. It is integrity. You may notice that situations which once triggered urgency no longer pull you into reaction. Your response is slow. Your choices simplify. Your intuition sharpens without effort. This is not detachment. It is alignment in motion. And here is something important. Transmutation does not make you softer or harder. It makes you clearer. Clear enough to stop leaking energy into what cannot meet you. Clear enough to recognize resonance without justification. Clear enough to move without explaining yourself. This is where the field begins to stabilize. And when the field stabilizes, life reorganizes around it. Not immediately, not theatrically, but consistently. What leaves your life at this stage does so without drama. What remains feels clean, and what approaches now does not require you to abandon yourself. This is why transmutation naturally precedes abundance, because abundance is not an addition. It is the absence of energetic waste. When energy stops being consumed by misalignment, it becomes available for creation, flow, and expansion. Nothing mystical needs to happen. The system simply becomes efficient again. Alignment is not a technique. It is not something you do. It is something that happens when distortion is no longer maintained. Most humans believe alignment means becoming better, calmer, or more spiritual. From the Pleiadian perspective, alignment simply means that energy stops contradicting itself. The heart no longer wants one thing, while the mind negotiates another. The body no longer signals discomfort, while the personality explains it away. Alignment begins when these inner negotiations end, and betrayal is often the event that makes this ending unavoidable. Not because betrayal is desirable, but because it removes the last illusion that allowed misalignment to continue. When alignment starts to return, you may notice subtle but profound changes. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop chasing emotional closure. You stop trying to be understood by those who cannot meet you. This is not withdrawal. It is internal authority reestablishing itself. From the Pleiadian field, alignment restores a natural hierarchy. Truth above attachment. Clarity above comfort. Resonance above familiarity. When this hierarchy is restored, energy no longer fragments. And when energy stops fragmenting, the field becomes coherent. Sparkles now, write in the comments, I return to alignment. Write this because alignment responds to direction. This sentence is not symbolic. It is orientational. It tells your system that you are no longer willing to place loyalty to others above loyalty to your own coherence. When spoken, this choice reorganizes your internal structure. Decisions simplify, boundaries clarify. The nervous system stops bracing for compromise. You may feel quieter after this, less reactive, less emotionally charged. This does not mean you care less. It means you are no longer leaking energy into distortion. From this state, alignment begins to extend outward. People either adjust or fade. Opportunities either resonate or dissolve. This is not punishment. It is physics. A coherent field cannot sustain incoherent dynamics. And this is where abundance quietly begins to form, not as reward, not as compensation for pain, but as a natural consequence of energy flowing without internal contradiction. Alignment is not dramatic. It is precise, and precision is what allows life to reorganize itself around truth. Abundance does not arrive to compensate pain. It arrives when pain no longer consumes energy. This is one of the most misunderstood principles of creation. Many believe abundance is something you attract after you heal enough, forgive enough, or become worthy enough. From the Pleiadian perspective, abundance is not attracted. It is unblocked when clarity dissolves confusion and alignment restores coherence. Energy stops being diverted into maintenance. Maintenance of stories, maintenance of attachments, maintenance of bonds that require self-betrayal. Once this maintenance ends, the system becomes efficient again, and efficiency creates surplus. This surplus is what humans experience as abundance. You may notice this shift subtly at first. Decisions require less effort. Opportunities feel lighter. A movement replaces stagnation. Nothing magical needs to occur. Life simply stops resisting you because you are no longer resisting yourself. This is why abundance often arrives after loss, separation, or betrayal. Not because suffering is rewarded, but because misalignment was finally released. From this state, abundance does not demand striving. It flows toward clarity. It responds to coherence. It stabilizes where energy is not leaking. And here is something important to understand. Abundance is not always immediate, but once alignment is established, it becomes inevitable because the field is no longer contradictory. What comes now does not require you to fragment. What stays now does not drain you. What grows now grows without force. This is not optimism. It is structural reality. Abundance is not something you chase. It is something that emerges when your internal system is finally in agreement with itself. Clarity does not need to convince. It does not argue. It simply stands. Once clarity stabilizes, everything that cannot align with it begins to fall away, not through force, but through incompatibility. This is why the final phase of alignment often feels quiet rather than celebratory. There is no urgency left, no need to revisit the story, no desire to extract meaning from pain. What remains is presence, and presence is what allows clarity to lead instead of react. At this stage, betrayal has already completed its function. It exposed where truth was being compromised. It interrupted a dynamic that could no longer evolve with you. There is nothing left to analyze, only something to choose. Sparkles for the final time, write in the comments, I allow clarity to lead me. Write this because permission matters. Without permission, clarity remains an insight. With permission, it becomes direction. This sentence is not affirmation. It is authorization. You are telling your system that alignment now has priority over attachment, truth over familiarity, coherence over fear. When this permission is given, the field stabilizes. And when the field stabilizes, movement becomes clean. What leaves does so without resistance. What arrives does not demand explanation. What stays feels grounded. This is how abundance anchors itself. Not through effort, not through belief, but through consistency. Clarity leads. Alignment organizes. Abundance follows. We are the Pleiadians. Our role is not to pull you forward or promise outcomes. We remove what no longer belongs, so what is aligned can remain. And if you are still here, listening, breathing, feeling, then clarity is no longer approaching. It has already arrived. Stay in alignment,